Guess who's back? Back again! Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. I hope each and every one of you guys had a fantastic Christmas break. Spending time with your loved ones. I hope you received amazing presents, but that's not the most important part of Christmas. The most important part is the food and spending time with your loved ones. So I hope everything went well, but we're back. And now that, Christmas is over, now we've got New Year's Day coming up. Over the course of these days approaching the new year, you will see many transfer updates because we are getting a lot of them. There are many rumors going around of many players wanting to join Roma. But this one, many of them are rumors. Many of them might also be bullshit, to be honest with you. But Ainsley Maitland-Niles from Arsenal Football Club is this close away from joining AS Roma, from being Mourinho's first player to be the first player to approach Mourinho in the January transfer market. This is not just, as other live streams about other players were rumors. This is being confirmed by many sources. The primary source, which, we need to trust, is Fabrizio Romano. His job is about transfer market. So if he says so, there is really something going on. And Fabrizio Romano has said that Ainsley Maitland-Niles is literally one step away from joining Roma and becoming the new addition to Mourinho's team. Now, to be honest with you, it could be better, but Ainsley Maitland-Niles is a very smart choice. Now, and this is what I want to talk about today. I think, realistically speaking, if we want to talk and we want to say the truth, Ainsley Maitland-Niles he's not a baller, Fairly speaking, he's not going to come to Roma, bang, and make us win the Europa Conference League. Because if that's the objective of this transfer market, then Ainsley Maitland-Niles is absolutely useless. Because Ainsley Maitland-Niles will come to Roma and not be a starting 11. He will come to Roma and have many small impacts, but will have multiple of them. And, his records are not great. Obviously, he's not been having much space with Arteta this season. But just in general, as Arteta became the new Arsenal manager, he wasn't his first choice. In fact, Arteta has said it in many press conferences that Ainsley Maitland-Niles is not his player. As you can see from the stats on the screen, he played 11 matches between the EFL Cup, the League Cup, and the Premier League this season, scored 0 goals, and assisted just once. A big factor of these poor records is the fact that he's not having much space at Arsenal. Arteta doesn't like him, and to be honest with you, now that Arsenal in the Premier League are starting to grind more and more, they're starting to collect more points, they're actually in a Champions League, they've shushed each hater which at the start of the season said that Arsenal were shit team. Arsenal are actually decent right now, They don't win big matches, but they are somehow 4th in the Premier League. And, Arteta has made it clear that Ainsley Maitland-Niles is not his duel. And that is why last season he went on a loan to West Bromwich Albion with Big Sam being on the bench. Obviously, West Brom loaned him to try and save from relegation. But then they ended up in the Championship again, so mission was failed. Now, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, after an experience at West Brom, after, basing himself at Arsenal Football Club, is really one step away from AS Roma and will be the first transfer closure in the January transfer market. One thing I want to say before pointing out how he can benefit Roma, obviously, is that in the January transfer market, from the very start, we didn't expect big players, to be honest with you. In the January transfer market, it's all about fixing the team. It's not about improving the team in a way. It's about fixing the gaps and then improving the team. So obviously, we couldn't expect, big players to come in the January transfer market. But Ainsley Maitland-Niles has the power and the impact to bring and dig, and completely close all the obstacles that Roma have right now. And this leads me on to say that the biggest obstacle Roma have right now is the squad depth, which, Mourinho has referred to in many press conferences. Mourinho has blamed in many, losses and many defeats this season. If you look at the Venezia game, and if you go listen to the press conference again, Mourinho did blame the squad depth. And, there's a big part of this. In fact, Roma's big problem, which I think links to many other problems. For example, we don't win big matches. Exclude the Atalanta. We don't win big matches if you exclude the Atalanta game. So we lose too many points with small clubs. That all links to squad depth. Because eventually, if you always start with the 11 players, they will get tired. And that is the primary reason, one of the primary reasons of why, for example, we didn't collect points against Sampdoria. Because, I think at the start of the season, we would have battered Sampdoria a few weeks ago. So obviously, Maitland-Niles would improve the squad depth. But I think this is a smart move. Because as we said before, he might not be, a champion. He's not a baller. And I completely agree, people who say that Ainsley Maitland-Niles will not bring anything to Roma. I agree with some people who, in their opinion, say that Ainsley Maitland-Niles is not a good player and don't like him. I understand that. But I think the reason why Roma, in a way, booked, it's technically not official, but it's, as I repeat, this close away from happening. I think, there'll be the confirmation, the official statement in the next couple of hours, maybe tomorrow. But Ainsley Maitland-Niles will be the next Roma player. If things were gonna go wrong, Arsenal and Roma just forget all the agreements, then obviously things are gonna blow up. But hopefully, for the better of these two clubs, things are going to get closer. Fabrizio Romano has said it. So I think this is a smart move. This is a smart move because Ainsley Maitland-Niles is a player which acts like a jolly. Now, I'm not sure if you get what I mean, but Ainsley Maitland-Niles is a jolly at Roma. And, I seriously think Roma bought this player for one thing. And this thing only is to improve the squad depth. Full stop. Because Thiago Pinto, fairly speaking, I might be saying bullshit. But the main reason of AS Roma, the Fredkins and Thiago Pinto, and Mourinho wanting Ainsley Maitland-Niles is not because they expect much from him. But because they know that buying Maitland-Niles would improve your squad depth, because buying him would almost be the equivalent of buying two different players. Because Maitland-Niles, will play and can play as a right back and as a midfielder. And, these two positions, are the two positions which Roma need and are struggling the most on. A right back, because Korsdorp is one of the few players which has played the most matches under Jose Mourinho this season. There is physically no substitution, no reserve to Rick Korsdorp. Because Brian Reynolds is not good enough. In the last couple of months he was in the States to play with the national team. I don't know why. The reality is, Rick Korsdorp doesn't have a reserve. So buying Maitland-Niles allows Korsdorp to rest many matches. And unlike Brian Reynolds, Maitland-Niles has the experience by playing in the Premier League and at a football club like Arsenal. So, seriously, I think this is more of a smart move than an improving room. Yeah, lads, I'll talk about the financial and economic bits in a sec. Just let me get over this. I think, and he can also give a substitution and a reserve to, for example, Veretout or Cristante. Obviously, there are players which Roma will buy in this transfer market, which, can improve the midfielder section area more than Maitland-Niles. But this is a smart move more than a wow move, if you get what I mean. Because what we understood is that Mourinho doesn't like Villar and Mourinho doesn't like Diawara, but Mourinho asked for this guy, so there is a reason for it. So, he can give a rest to Karsdorp, and especially over the course of the second half of the season, we're playing many more matches. We're playing double the amount of matches. If we go forward in the Europa Conference League, we'll play those matches. The Serie A becomes way more important. The Coppa Italia takes place. And in the Coppa Italia, by the way, we're facing Lecce, which is a Serie B team in the first round. And if we win against them, we're going to play Inter Milan or another team. But I assume it's Inter Milan because the other team is not good enough. So, there might be a match Roma-Inter Milan in the Coppa Italia. So giving a rest to many players is the objective of buying Maitland-Niles. Obviously, he might end up assisting, he might end up scoring, but the reality of this transfer is not that. It's the allowing to rest for many players. And obviously Spinazzola will be back, so that will be great. Right. The financial part of this is interesting because, to be honest with you, Roma it's a loan. It's a loan, obviously. Roma. If I were Roma and I would buy this guy, let's not judge a book by its cover. But God, I don't want to buy this guy. I think he can be great when it comes to loans. And then obviously, if he's great, if he performs, or if he scores like 10 goals, obviously Roman can buy him and needs to buy him, because that means, just like Chris Smalling a few years ago, that he orientated himself well, he's got experience in this area, and he bonded well with other players. So if he ends up performing well, obviously end up buying him. But I wouldn't buy him right now, and this is why it's a loan. And to be honest with you, it's not an expensive loan because it's actually Roma is paying like 785,000 for this loan, or even it's like 700 to 900,000 euros to have Maitland-Niles as a loan, and then if they want to buy him from Arsenal, they need to pay 10 million, which is quite a lot of money, to be honest with you. And obviously there are players that we could buy with the 10 million, but up to now we don't need to focus about the buying Maitland-Niles from Arsenal. Right now, it's more about getting him, loaning him to Roma, and play him in some matches, which allows Karsdorp to rest, because over the first half of the season, Karsdorp barely ever rested. And also another interesting thing is the fact that Mourinho came, and out of 6 players Roma bought since Mourinho came, 2 of these players are English, and they've got another English player, which is Chris Smalling in defense. Obviously, Mourinho's having those Premier League deja vus, and buying Abraham, Maitland-Niles, and Chris Smalling together obviously helps, because they speak the same language, and it's easier for him to bond with these 2 players, to understand these 2 players. So it's interesting what we're the English side of Roma, which is popping out more and more under Jose Mourinho. We've got Tammy, we've got Chris, and now we're about to get Ainsley Maitland-Niles. So, as I said before, I don't care about Maitland-Niles, and it's not me, to be honest with you. It's not me. It's Thiago Pinto. At the end of the day, Thiago Pinto is not interested. I mean, he is. But the big goal of this is not buying Maitland-Niles and then, God, we're in the Europa Conference League final. Because if we buy Maitland-Niles, get me there right now. No, forget that. Maitland-Niles will come to Roma. He will barely ever play, if you ask me. And obviously, with a manager like Mourinho, Mourinho, it doesn't take much for Mourinho to know if someone has orientated well. Mourinho really wants this guy, but that doesn't mean that he can then, be a big part of AS Roma's project, to be honest with you, because Mourinho's a very direct manager. You're not good enough, you're out. I hope for the best, to be honest with you. I think he's got the secret talent in him, which he needs to show at Roma. But at the same time, I do think there are better options. The reality is that there are better options. Roma are interested in other players. And just before concluding this stream, the 2 names which have gone round the web Wait, let me get it. The two names which are circulating around the web right now. Obviously, Fabrizio Romano and people like him haven't fully confirmed them. But Grilic from Hoffenheim is a player which Roma is extremely interested in. And also Camara from Marseille. Camara from Marseille is another player Roma is interested in. So, at the end of the day, what we have right here is a smart move from Roma because it allows players to rest. He is a jolly, and this is the benefit, the good part of this deal is the jolly part because he can play in many positions, allowing many players to rest, which is a good thing. Second thing, which is good, is that the loan doesn't cost much. It costs around 700 to 900,000 euros to loan him to Roma, and then if you were to play great and Roma was interested in buying him, they would need to pay 10 million quid, which is quite a substantial amount. But it will be. Basically, it will be. It's almost official. The first January transfer under Jose Mourinho. So, I understand people who don't like him. To be honest with you, I'm not a great fan. But as always, let's not judge a book by its cover. We've seen him play, but in a completely different league. Abraham at Chelsea wasn't great. At Roma, he's starting to grind more and more. So if we eventually end up buying him, we got to give him time. And obviously the matches he plays, he needs to perform extremely well. Right, let's read some comments before ending that stream. What position does he play? He plays, he's a right back and centre defensive mid. And he's also a higher mid. I'm not impressed as Logical Fallacy Watch. We need someone better than Karsdorp, too inconsistent. I'm glad we're talking him on loan first. I'm not entirely convinced about this guy. However, I would like to see him play first. Yes, I agree with you. I'm not 100% convinced. Obviously, other players will be better, but let's not judge a book by its cover. Why buy him when we could recall Florenzi from the loan? The problem with Florenzi, as I agree with that, but the problem with Florenzi is that he had a few disputes with the fans, and I don't know. He said it himself that he would rather spend some time away from Roma and then think about a move back to the club, which made him the player he is now. I would love Florenzi right back. He's lower in value and cost, and he was born in Rome too. Maybe Jose Mourinho believes he can turn him into a right back wing. I think what Mourinho thinks is that Maitland Niles can give Karsdorp a good old rest, and it's a massive thing because Karsdorp is possibly one of the few players which has played the most matches under Mourinho in this first half, so he needs a rest. What happened with Grilic? Roma trying. Grilic would be great, to be honest with you, but we'll speak about more transfer market in the next couple of streams. I'll update you guys. When will Spinazzola come back? He was set to be back in December, to be honest with you, but unfortunately, he is not back in December. I assume he'll be back around the end of January, start of February, for the best, because God, we need him, especially in the second half of the season. Right, ladies and gentlemen, Maitland Niles, close to Roma, was today's live stream. Obviously, we're back from the Christmas break. As I said at the start, I hope every single one of you guys had a massive rest, a massive time, spending time with your families, eating delicious food. And now the focus needs to get back, ready. Also, something interesting is Pellegrini was in holiday in Dubai, and he decided to come back today at Trigoria to speed up his recovery. That deserves an applause. That is a captain. And hopefully we'll get him back for AC Milan, just like Tammy Abraham. Lads and lasses, if you're new here, please subscribe. Bottom right hand corner, we're closer to 2,000 subscribers. Subscribe if you're new right now. Love you all. And like this live stream as soon as it becomes a video. Follow me here on Instagram, Allure Score The Simon Show, and I'll catch you tomorrow for more transfer market news. Simon out.